I'm going to wrap up with one thing, and then we're going to open up for a couple of minutes. We have someone in the room. Actually, we've got a number of people from Scripps that are here, but there's somebody I wanted to highlight in our. Because of the topic specifically here, and that's Eric Brooks. Eric Brooks is in the back of the room there, and Eric Brooks, when I was the general manager of WGN in Chicago, Eric was an intern in a place where there were all these desks that were outside of my office, and so he would stop in. I tend to work late, and he'd stop in and ask questions, and it was that thing. That was kind of his 5-second test. For me, we had batches of interns rolling through the radio station there, and he was a guy that always would, had the courage to come in. Not that it should be courage to come see me, just this little guy, but he came in and he would ask questions, and he would ask for feedback and some coaching. And my background is both in sales and programming, but more known for the product side for sure. And so we spent a lot of time talking. He ended up going to Jacksonville, Illinois for a couple of years, and then up to WTMJ. And then when I arrived at WTMJ, sort of knowing him, knowing his background, was able to work with him. And he was when I got there was a part-time person that was producing up there, because I had actually talked to him and said, hey, if you can get to WTMJ in Milwaukee, that's a great place. Even though it's a part-time thing, it maybe will grow you there. And then not long after that, I ended up working there as well. And he always had that, and still has that eagerness to learn. I can be kind of a very direct person in terms of how I lead and manage, and Eric can tell you that, but he knows that I have the passion for it and have a passion for him and our employees to grow them to the best that they can be. So Eric, in the last couple to 2-3 years, worked his way from being a producer to an executive producer to an assistant program manager to a program manager. Now he's the director of programming and news for WTMJ. So somebody, that I'm extremely proud of, as I am with a lot of our other people who have been on course to grow. So those are important things, I think, all the way across the board. So does anybody have any questions or any comments or any stories? And I also want to actually, J-Pat, if you wouldn't mind taking the microphone for just a second. J-Pat Miller, who was speaking in our previous group, attended the podcasters and podcasting meetings in Chicago a couple of days ago, and you had some pretty good maybe takeaways, so we can kind of steal from that convention to this one. I think that might be helpful in terms of where are we finding people. What did you find there?
I should stand up. Oh, hi, Art. Did anyone attend Podcast Movement in Chicago last week? Yeah, I had never heard of it until I was invited to go, just to watch it. And I walked into a room that was super exciting. I think 2,000 people attended this convention, and it was people that were terribly excited about creating audio, passionate folks that were creating podcasts following their interests. And there were two distinct themes that I thought were really energizing for a radio guy. They were most of them, were creating shows that they were passionate about the content. I'm going to do a barbecue podcast because, damn it, I love barbecue, right? And the other thing that was cool is that they were true talents, because when I would talk to some of them, I'm like, oh, well, maybe that could be a radio show. And they all went like this. I'm like, well, why? Well, I want to do it the way that I want to do it. It was like going back in time and talking to, I'm old, so back into the 80s and talking to a morning guy or gal that's like, I want to do the show the way that I want to do the show. So there was this notion, at least, that, well, maybe we'll go to Podcast Movement and find a bunch of people that want to do radio. I'm not sure if that's what it was. I think we found a lot of people that were excited about creating audio and very entrepreneurial. So there may be some folks that developed their way through podcasting, but at least the Podcast Movement convention was full of people that were excited about audio. It's something I highly recommend. If there's a convention you're looking to put onto your agenda in 2017, it's going to be in Anaheim. That never hurts. It's a great convention, and you can find a lot of people that will get you reinvigorated about creating audio, because it definitely did it for me.
So the creation of audio is part of the farm system, and that's one way of doing it. That's one way for us to find people.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Any questions, comments, stories? Hi, I'm going to bring the mic over to you, Jeff.
How are you doing? Well, about 11, 12 years ago, while working at Clear Channel in Santa Barbara, I actually developed 3 talk show hosts. 2 of them were clients from the weekend, and one of them was a complainer, someone who just regularly called me and complained. So what happened is that I decided to take all 3 of them out to lunch, and I found 2 of them just chatting back and forth, back and forth. So what happened was we decided to take, at the time, our sports station and make it a liberal talk station. So I eventually had a channel left and channel right. And basically decided to take all the infomercials off the news talk, the heritage station, move it over to the liberal station, at least give it some financial, footing. And then take these 2 guys and put them together and basically have a left and right talk show for 4.5 hours on Saturdays. And we ended up making a lot more money than selling green tea infomercials on a Saturday and then strengthening a liberal station. And then I had a secondary station up in San Luis Obispo and with the main afternoon talk shows. I used those 2 guys to be the fill-in guys for that particular station. So that was just one way of taking things and looking around and treating it like an airline and moving some seats around and making it happen.
Thanks, Jeff. Anyone else? Anybody have any great come on up. Come on, we had a couple of minutes here, so we'll chug through as much as we can. Maxwell.
Hi, my name is Max Kaczynski. I just wanted to ask. So it's kind of funny because on my card here, it still says that I attend college. So it kind of popped into my head. I'm actually a 22-year-old graduate of North Central College, which is in Illinois, in Naperville, which is very close to this Midwestern group, our panel up here. So I was wondering, not to toot my own horn, I guess, but a couple of years ago, we were announced by the IBS Intercollegiate Broadcasting Society, Society, as the radio station of the year, best in the country. And not to toot my own horn, but do you guys look at national college competitions and for radio and stuff like that? Because not just at my station, but there are so many hungry students that want to get into this business. So younger than me, as I have now graduated, but there is just so many people.
Gentlemen?
I actually was involved with an NAB project a couple of years ago, and we were studying college radio stations, and the accolades are fantastic, and congratulations. That's incredible. But anything that can get you recognized and get that attention, it always does help.
Experience,
but more than one dimension, though. Make sure there's more to it. And the more you have to offer and bring to the table, the better chances you have.
Experience does matter, and being able to do the job when you come through the door, that's what ultimately matters. And having this experience and competing at that level makes you ready for that.
It would get you an interview for sure, because I think that is a point of differentiation with the vast majority of applicants that we're fortunate enough to see. So when you go to DoorCountyDailyNews.com and click on employment, all right.
Yes. Thanks very much to our terrific panel. Thanks to Jeff, to Roger, and to Mike, some great broadcasters. And I just wanted to also give a special shout out to radio's best friend, Art Volo, who is behind the camera. Someone who loves radio every single day and continues to do so.